which is not... Where was I? I forgot. I was about 14 years old when I decided I'd like to become a bat boy in the major leagues. So I decided to write a letter to this fellow and ask him if I could get a job as a bat boy with the Philadelphia Ball Club. He wrote back and he said the jobs with bat boys are usually given to the kids whose fathers play ball or with the organization. And I did this because it came to the end of the World Series. I thought the end of the world was here. No more baseball. My God. All winter. What's going to happen? You know, what are you going to do? Live? So anyway, I got a letter back saying that just what I told him. And he said, however, judging by your content, the contents of your letter, your interest in baseball, I suggest you become a newspaper man. So I went down the street and saw the publisher and gave him the letter. He said, we don't have a sports section. Well, I said, let's start one. I'm 14 now. I'm a sophomore in high school. So he says, come back in 2 weeks. I went back in 2 weeks, and they made me sports editor. So I started. This is the letter. 4 years that I played ball, I batted .487, and I won 28 games and lost one as a pitcher. Now, I wrote all these stories in the paper because I was a sports editor, and I wrote all the headlines myself, but I wrote it under the name of Bob Shaw. I figured my name was too long, so I changed the name. But this is Bob Shaw. All these stories are by Bob Shaw, and in the stories will say the headlines: Cloutier hits home run with bases loaded. Cloutier strikes out 23 batters. Cloutier gets 4 hits, and writing about myself. Yeah. I saved all the clippings, and I sent them to Joe Cronin at the end of 4 years, and I said, please give this kid Cloutier a tryout. He's one hell of a ball player. So here's what happened. With the Red Sox. I made what was then the east, or rather the western trip. Detroit, Chicago, St. Louis, and Cleveland. And this was my roommate here. Some of you have heard of him, I think. Jimmy Fox.
Oh, yeah.
That was my roommate.
Yeah, there he is in his uniform. Babe Cloutier.
Yeah, that's a Babe. And this is the day after 10 days. They said, I'm afraid you're not going to make it. Well, I knew I wouldn't anyway. So they told me to go home. So this is it.
Had you been told at that time when that picture was made? Did you know it? Did you know it at that time?
Oh yeah. I took one good look at the left field while it was over. You know, of all the, I probably have interviewed 1,500 to 2,000 Major League ball players since I've been a sports writer. And I've asked every one of them, it seems, what is the greatest thrill you ever got in playing baseball? And they all say the same thing: putting on the uniform.
So you got a chance to do that. You got that.
And over here was my first interview. I interviewed this fellow here, who was a pretty good ball player in his day.
Yeah, pretty good, that one.
That's right.
Yeah, I would say.
And he was the one that suggested we take a picture. So I thought that was pretty good. I had quite an experience with him. I went down from Berlin, as I said, I was just a sophomore in high school, and I asked the usher if I could get on the field because I had to have an interview with Babe Ruth. I said, my sports editor sent me. Didn't tell him I was it. That's right. I said, he sent me for an interview, and I got to talk to him. Are you a member of the Baseball Writers Association? I said, no. He said, you can't get on the field. I said, I've got to. He says, no, you can't. I said, okay, thank you. I went up to the grandstand. In those days, the grandstand was built in such a way so the bottom part was nothing but lattice work, you know, full of holes. So I crawled on all fours under the grandstand. I got over here, I got on my knees. The Babe was having batting practice with Lou Gehry and the other players, Yankee players. And I got down here and I put my fingers through those holes and I kept waving the fingers, hollering, Babe, Babe, Babe. Finally, Babe heard it and he came over and he said, what is it? I said, I'm so-and-so. I said, from Durham, New Hampshire, and I was down here just to get an interview with you, but they won't let me on the field. He says, this seems to be loose. He says, push, not pull. Push, pull, got me in the dugout. Get me in the dugout.
Oh, good guy, wasn't he?
Oh, he was a
yeah.
You betcha.
Yeah.
Well, that was the start, and those were the fellows who, I must say, gave me my start. And then as time went on, of course, there's a couple of good hitters here. You can see. The eager beaver in the middle there. I'm going to take those notes.